guys, Ken from Service USA here, and today we are talking about deadlift, but more specifically deadlift setup and then keeping tight during the lift. Now, for me personally, that comes down to three main cues. And those are going to be upper back tight and chest up. Second cue is going to be lats in your back pocket, and the third one is going to be breaking the bar. Now, what's the reason for this? Well, basically, you'll see a lot of people who will deadlift and their starting position will be absolutely perfect, absolutely great. Problem is, when they start to pull, their upper back gets loose, they slouch over, and all that leads to is that when we get to that top end, you're essentially, now you have to hitch to finish the lift. Now it would be either a case of you're going to dip and ramp up, or you're jerking to pull the shoulders back. Whatever it may be, if you're slouched over, now you're basically in a bad position, literally and figuratively, to finish the lift. So, let's get into this a little bit. Three cues, the first one being the chest high. Now, the reason for chest high is that if we drive our chest high and make it proud, we can't slouch, or the ability to slouch is greatly diminished. So what I mean by that is, for me, so first of all, before I get into it, set up feet and hands. Let's just touch upon that first. Feet and hands, all personal preference. For me personally, I like having my feet around here so that my tibia is as neutral as possible, and then I actually have my hands a little bit wider than you'd expect, because for me, again, personal preference, it allows me to basically fire and lock down a lot harder than if I have my hands closer. So this is my deadlift setup around roughly about here. Now when I say chest high, I roll the bar, but it doesn't matter, the same principle applies. When you come in, you want to essentially drive your chest up so that you wedge in and under the bar. And I mean, you'll see they're floating, and it's only 135 pounds, but what that relates to and what that transfers into is that when the bar is heavier, I'm essentially getting myself into a position that, so when I apply force to drive the bar off the ground, as much of it is going into the bar as possible. And that's all from that positional cue. So the chest up one, you're coming in, and you're driving here, and your chest comes up. Now, this leads us into the perfect segue or transition into the second cue, which is lats in the back pocket. So what we want to do is, when our chest comes high, we want to ensure that we keep our chest high the entire lift. Now, the way I like to do that is I think about my lats and my back pocket. So I'm trying to force everything down as if I'm wearing a pair of jeans, and I'm trying to force my lats into that back pocket. So again, what it does is that when I get my chest high and pull them down, everything gets way tighter. So all that looks like, I mean, it looks very similar with the chest because it's such a minor detail. I'm coming in, I'm rolling, I'm pulling down my lats, and my chest comes up. And then it leads us to the third cue, which is breaking the bar. Now, once we've got that position, we want to keep it. Problem is, if you're only focusing on down, what a lot of people tend to do is the bar tends to drift in front of them a little bit, which then will drag you forward. So to minimize that, we try and break the bar around our shins. And what that's going to look like is basically trying to apply pressure with this outside edge of the hand into the bar, and almost like twisting your arms. And obviously you're not going to be able to do it because the bar's there, but that's what it sort of looks like. And that's the cue I use as well. I'm trying to basically bend everything around my shins. So once I get my hand placement, my feet placement, I come here, I roll in, I dip down, my chest comes high, my lats go down, and now I'm firing everything round. And here's my start position. So that when I fire up, everything's tight for the entire duration of the lift. Now, in terms of application, we want to basically have this in our mind and neurologically ingrained as much as possible. And the only way to do that is repetition. So for me, it might only be a week since I last deadlifted, but every single rep in my warm-ups, I'm doing this technique, and I'm resetting every single rep. Unless it's a really big, heavy day where I'm hitting a heavy single, heavy double, triple, whatever that may be, I make my warm-ups singles until I get to a certain level. So every single lift, I'm resetting. So I'm coming in here, my hands are placed, my feet are placed, I roll in, I set, and pull, boom. Now I'm going to reset and get it done again. And then what will happen is that when I get up to my top sets, my technique changes slightly where I'll basically reset at the top of the lift. So what you'll see is if I pull this, when I'm here, now I'm trying to reset here. So I want to fire my pinkies round and get my air here, and I get set, and then I come down slow, I touch and drive up. And the reason for that is that when I deadlift in the suit, I can't breathe in the bottom. I have to breathe at the top and reset reset myself at the top, so that when I come down to the bottom, I don't have to worry about getting my air. I can just get all the air at the top, come down under control, pause, wait for that up command, and drive up hard. So hopefully those helped you. Those again, chest up, lats in the back pocket, and break the bar. So if you have any questions about them, obviously please reach out. Always here to answer questions. And until the next video, happy deadlifting.